Something is going to happen to Shin, we were all wrong about Marrok, Baylan is going to take center stage, all this and more in today's video, because we're going to be talking about episode 4, part 4 by Peter Ramsey, which drops tomorrow, and it's 42 minutes in length, 38 if you subtract the credits. Now, as I put forward at the start of this video, we will go into potential spoilers, rumours, leaks, that kind of thing. Not all of it is certain, but it's very speculative based on some things that fans have spotted, as well as some recent information given by certain outlets that we might expect in the show. And before we dive into it, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below, and why not hit the bell to be alerted every time that I post a new video. But no more jibber jabber guys, let's begin. By all accounts and from what we've heard, part 4 is where the show really picks up and sets up an epic second half of the series. This is the episode where we expect Baylan to face Ahsoka, another duel between Marrok and Ahsoka as well, and the second lightsaber duel between Shin and Sabine, although this time we don't expect Sabine to get the Qui-Gon Jinn treatment. Lightsaber duels are abound, and word on the street is that there is going to be a big reveal along with these fights. Bespin Bulletin have an exclusive, and I should say, this isn't from them, they're just reporting on it. This comes from an unknown, unverified Reddit account that claims to have some leaks for the next episode, and they say that the identity of Marrok is going to be unveiled in this upcoming episode. We've all wanted to know who he is, we've heard theories about a possible Luke clone, maybe a canon version of Galen Marrok, Starkiller. Some have been hoping for a familiar character like Barra Sophie, but alas, if this rumour is to be believed, we were all wrong. He's a new character we've never met, and we've put way too much onus on his significance in terms of the overall story. I mean, the extent to which we've theorised about this guy in the fandom has been pretty crazy. As George Lucas said,
I may have gone too far in a few places.
And this is going to be another example of us overthinking, just as we did for Kylo Ren, for Rey, and then in the Disney Plus shows, Grogu's backstory, the Order 66 savior, and it ends up being something that serves the story for better or for worse, but usually it's the simplest explanation. And so according to this rumour, this guy is literally made out of smoke. Smoke. So I think Ahsoka's going to fight him and, well, if this is to be believed, he's literally going to vanish. Just by rationalising some previous tidbits we've heard and piecing them together with this, I would say if this is true, then Marrok was an Inquisitor back in the day as the Star Wars databank says, but he's now being used as part of Morgan Elsbeth's Army of the Dead. So maybe he's a zombie of sorts, maybe she used some Night Sister magic on him and that's why he can literally disappear, which he might do, according to this. I'm hoping this is wrong, a part of me really does still hold on to the whole Starkiller thing. I'm hoping for such a prominent, mysterious villain, he does have a bit more of an intriguing backstory. As I mentioned before, I'm hoping he was the secret apprentice of Darth Vader, while she was the Padawan and apprentice of Anakin, so a duality between the light and dark. We will find out soon enough, and they're adamant it is going to be in this next episode. And so now moving on to another possible reveal. On social media, some fans have been scrutinising various scenes, and in one frame where Ahsoka is taking on Baylan, in the background we see what looks to be Shin, lying down unconscious. Is she going to die? Is this her dead, or has she just been knocked out? It'd be very ballsy to kill off a character like Shin this early on in the show, but I could imagine Dave Filoni doing it, particularly if he wants to spotlight other villains such as Baylan. Then this would be one method to get her out the way, so to speak. But one crucial comment made by Vana Sakno gives me pause on Shin dying. She said her favourite episode is episode 6, so I'm gonna guess that Shin survives. She might just be incapacitated, knocked out. If this is true, the goal might be to get rid of some of the lesser villains to make way for Thrawn, because in the second galaxy, Timothy Zahn teased a few months ago he's got some more allies, and a new cyborg assistant, as long as Morgan Elsbeth survives. And another big question as we reach the halfway mark of this series, when are we going to Peridea? It's probably going to be soon. And fans have noticed some antagonism within the villains, the way Shin was talking to Morgan Elsbeth in the last episode. We suspected some kind of deception was coming. Did Baylan do this to her? Or was it Sabine in their second duel? As a fan, you would assume this is the episode that the various pieces of promotional material that include fight sequences fit, especially given what we know about episode 5, which is expected to feature some scenes that are going to change the trajectory of Ahsoka's future and give us some of the best fan service in years. That is what we've heard. so this episode is a setup, so to speak. So maybe Ahsoka does lose the fight to Baylan. I've heard this notion that she is going to wipe the floor with Baylan and Marrok. Probably Marrok, but Baylan, we don't know how powerful he truly is. And with all of the hints to a connection between him and Darth Vader, his obsession with Anakin, which I did explore in a theory video the other day, he might have learnt a thing or two since Order 66. All these years later, he may have acquired a new fighting style, one that combines various lightsaber forms. His orange lightsaber and its significance is still a mystery, but we can't underestimate him. I can imagine a mid-season slump, George Lucas style, where our heroes lose the first time round. Sabine already has, against Shin, but who's to say Ahsoka will be successful this time? Or maybe it's going to end in a cliffhanger to set up episode 5. And the big reveal of episode 5 that is expected is Anakin. We haven't been told if it's going to be a flashback to the Clone Wars or as a Force ghost, but I want to point your attention to a scene that was included in the teaser trailer that we still have no context for. Ahsoka is in the Red Forest on Seatos, and she mentions Thrawn is heir to the Empire. Is this in the next episode? Is this her talking to one of the villains? Maybe she's warning Baylan about what could happen if they find Thrawn, and if they give in to what she might think are false promises. Keep in mind he does tell Shin that for some, it means war, but for them, power such as they've never dreamed. There is something to be said about this scene being misleading. I do expect some twists and turns at this point. It is characteristically typical for this point mid-season for a Star Wars Disney Plus series. But given this is in the forest and not on the Stonehenge type part of Seatos, this is probably Ahsoka talking to Sabine. Or as I say, a bigger twist, maybe Anakin's Force ghost. And in Shin's fight with Sabine, she tries to use a Force push. We have no indication if she's going to be successful and how this is going to go down. And we don't know what order any of this is in. Last week there was a frame that appeared in promo material that we expected to be in episode 3, but since it didn't appear there, it's probably this week, where Hera with the Ghost, and Chopper of course, arrives on Seatos. Our heroes are about to face the HK-87s as well as the Corvus Guards, who were instructed by Baylan to assassinate the Jedi. And if what we're expecting does happen, then we might finally learn about Baylan's motives, which I believe is going to blow fans away. And so finally, my dear friends, in other Ahsoka news, now this does not necessarily pertain to episode 4, but it's really huge. Diana Inosanto, who played Morgan Elsbeth in Mando season 2 and now Ahsoka, has said there is another fight between her and the Togruta ex-Jedi. Chapter 13 was just round 1. In a new interview conducted by Dagobah Dispatch, Diana teases another fight sequence between the two characters, while also paying tribute to the recently deceased Ray Stevenson, who plays Baylan. Reflecting on the season, she said this: "I'll tell you one thing, the fight scene for sure. We had about 17 hours to kick out that fight scene between Rosario and me, and she's talking about Mando. Whereas this time round, and she's talking about a new fight scene, we had days at it. Let's just say that. There were days at it for that fight scene. It's a long, involved fight scene. It's pretty intense. There is so much action involved in this. I don't want to say too much, but there are some incredible moments between all of us. A lot of what I did in The Mandalorian served me well in Ahsoka. And so here's what's interesting. We were all wondering if she's a Night Sister, which has now been confirmed. Why didn't she use Night Sister magic against Ahsoka in round 1? Well, it turns out, if this fight sequence took days, it's more intricate. I think she might. She's got some tricks up her sleeve. We do expect some more Night Sister lore, both on the other side in the second galaxy and also here. So maybe we're going to see more of that sooner rather than later. She doesn't say when this is going to be. I'm telling you guys right now, the Ahsoka series is about to get so insane, and as the legend rest in peace Ray Stevenson said just before his passing at Star Wars Celebration, you think you've got these characters worked out, but it keeps shifting. So we can't trust anyone's allegiance as to who they're claiming to work for at the moment, whether it's Baylan, Shin. So that is the latest, my dear Mandalorians. I can't wait to break down and review the next episode. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Look out for my breakdown, you're not going to want to miss it. May the Force be with you, always.